It's like, oh my gosh!
It's like
yikes, Eric, what happened?
Who hurt you?
Welcome to the Kindred Spirit Podcast, a show all about the board game Spirit Island. Here we'll talk about analytics and strategies within the game, as well as a plethora of other topics that can be found within it.
I wasn't kidding. We ended the last episode
here.
2 seconds ago. Let's keep going. All right, where were we?
And we're back.
See, the thing is because of editing and whatnot.
Don't tell them the tricks.
It's going to be like a difference of like a week or a few weeks before I can get each of these to be like, with my schedule, each of these to be a back-to-back.
What is time?
The context, guys, is that we record in big sessions and then divide those up in the episodes because, let's be real, it's kind of hard to meet up all the time. So sometimes we'll just do one big recording session and get it done. Anyway, I'm wasting time. Let's get into it. The new minors and new majors.
Woo!
Oh, gosh. Oh, man. I was so excited
This
to see.
is what we were texting about probably till like midnight when you first
I
got
know,
the game.
dude.
You're like, what about this one?
And this one, and this one, and this one, and this one. So we have a few that we would like to just describe to you. So we're not going to go through every single minor or every single major in the deck just because that's going to take way too much time. But there are some that stood out to us.
Yeah.
And we just thought that we'd comment on it. So anyway, that's what we're going to do here. So there are a few cards in here that the artwork is just really unsettling. And I know that they said that in Jagged Earth the spirits are like meaner.
Aggressive.
They're more aggressive, and they weren't kidding.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
You made them mad.
Two that come to mind are Blood Draws Predators and Sear Anger into the Wild Lands. I'm not even going to talk about what they do. I'm just looking at the artwork. Blood Draws Predators is like a river of blood. Just blood gushing into the foreground, and there's crocodiles swimming in the blood. And by the way, guys, this isn't like one of your PG or rated E for everyone things where it's like, oh, to keep this movie PG-13, we're going to have this guy get eaten off screen by the alligator. No, this is blood. This
River
cannot
of
be.
blood.
There's no way that you can say, well, maybe that's just like Kool-Aid or... No. It's just crocodiles or alligators. No judgment here. Just swimming in a
We don't know
river
which
of
hemisphere
red.
this is.
Like, oh gosh. Just yikes. That's just terrifying. Like, yikes. Okay. Wow. Pulling no punches. As for the other one, the Sear Anger into the Wild Lands, there's just humans that are impaled on tree branches hanging from the top of the forest canopy. And so there's all these dead human bodies just dangling from trees.
That one's really creepy. That one will give you nightmares.
I know, and there's one dude that's still alive at the bottom of the artwork looking up, just going, ah! It's like the Predator, from... just like hanging trophies in trees, like, yikes!
Which, by the way, if you were to pull a skull, the spine would not stay
No,
attached.
it would not. It would not. And the ease
Yeah,
that he rips
come
it out,
on.
like, I always had a pet peeve like that. Even in the AVP games, as fun as they are, it's kind of funny how it's like, well, let me just go over here behind you so-and-so, and as I rip your head out, it has like the same consistency of a soft brownie. Just
gushing out.
Anyway, but like with these two cards, we got crocodiles swimming in blood, and then we have just human bodies impaled on trees and dangling from trees, just like, oh my gosh!
It's like
yikes, Eric, what happened?
Who hurt you? Where on the doll were you hit?
Dude, the same artist did them. Kat Guevara? I'm so sorry if I completely butcher your name, but that artist, Kat Guevara, did both of these.
Was having a bad day.
I don't know. Maybe they did. It's not that I'm actually unsettled, because if you've seen any horror movie ever, you've seen creepier stuff, but I haven't seen this kind of horrifying stuff in cards in this game like this to that effect. So it was just like, so yikes. As for artwork, there's just two others that I absolutely love.
I love one you're about to mention because it includes a spirit I like.
Alright, so this card is called Set Them on an Ever-Twisting Trail. What it does is you may gather or push explorers and you can isolate a land. So it's like, okay, so it's explore manipulation. The artwork is looking down at some explorers, and they're in like this glade, and they're all looking at maps. And it looks like they're having a disagreement on like, hey, wait, do we go this way? Wait, no, go this way.
Yeah.
It looks like they're bickering amongst themselves. And with the card's effect, it makes sense. You're pushing explorers around, and they're all confused and whatnot. What makes me love this artwork is right in the foreground on a tree branch, there's Finder of Paths Unseen, and he's just looking over his shoulder at the camera, just giving this grin. He's
Breaking
just
that fourth wall.
Just crap-eating grin.
I love it.
Like, you guys seeing this? Yeah.
Invader movement and isolation. Finder's specialty.
I love it. Just Finder is looking at these explorers. The theme of this picture is he's the one that made them lost. Mm-hmm. And he's loving it. And so while they're arguing and bickering amongst each other, he just turns and looks at the camera with this grin like...
Because if you're playing that card right, you're pushing them to maybe like across the islands. With Open the Ways.
Like, how the heck did we get here? Like,
I thought we were on the coast.
And they're in the desert.
Yeah.
Like, what the? Johnson, how did you screw this up? I don't know how you did, but you always do this. What are you talking about?
Let's just go back to the ship. What?
What ship? And there's this Finder just crossing his arms, his little feathered wings. He just... Anyway, so the first two made me scared. This one made me laugh. I was like,
funny.
oh gosh, I love it. So that one made me laugh. That's why I wanted to just quickly describe that one.
That was a good one.
So
one I liked, not as much. I liked the artwork, obviously, but I thought one was just crazy when we were talking about like placing tokens. You're like, oh, a lot of these new cards are adding Badlands, adding Wilds and stuff. A Dire Metamorphosis.
Oh, that one's creepy
This
too.
one's, oh, that's true.
As far as like the artwork, because it's like every bug. Oh, yeah. No, it's weird. It's like this seashell, and there's like a bug coming out of it.
Yeah,
but
like this old corpse of itself.
Right, but it's coming out like, think of every grotesque bug you've thought of. One's with long legs, one with horns, like those rhinoceros
what's
beetles.
that writer? It's like Lovecraft, like the writer of just like those
H.P.
monsters.
Lovecraft.
Yeah, it kind of looks like that.
Dude, this is like bringing Lovecraftian Cthulhu
Yeah,
lore.
of just like this disgusting monster bug.
There's the artwork is a creepy bug emerging from
With like
a
extra
husk.
mouths and...
Right, like you know how a cicada will molt its skin?
You sure?
This picture is simply a bug that's molting its skin, but the new bug that's emerging from it is just
terrifying.
Oh. It's so...
Laura, don't make me kill this in the house. I'll run away too. So the card, it's a slow power. It does 1 fear, 1 damage. 1 damage to Dahan. Meh. It adds Badlands, it adds Beast, it adds Disease, it adds Strife, and it adds Wilds. Oh, and also Blights. But it's just like every token, just grab a handful and dump it down.
I know, just Insect Oprah showed up.
Yeah.
You get a token, and you get a token, and you get a token.
If anyone got the broken token box, I mentioned I like the smaller size of them.
I do.
So if you are adding 6... 6 tokens or whatever.
For 1 energy, was it?
1 energy, you add all these tokens.
It's like 1 of everything. 1 fear, 1 damage, 1 damage to Dahan, 1 Badlands, 1 Beast, 1 Disease, 1 Strife, 1 Wilds, and a Blight.
Yeah.
The heck?
It adds everything. It's a crazy card.
What is going on?
Because usually I don't really like Blight cards.
Right.
This one does some really cool stuff.
The thing is, though, is with the tokens, Strife is the easiest to add. Then Wilds and Beast are marginally difficult to add. A little bit harder than Strife, but not as hard as Disease. And Disease is the hardest to add. This one does all of them.
Yeah.
And Badlands and Blight. Like,
only 1 cost.
And fear and damage. Like, yikes. Wow.
And like we were saying, Blight's becoming less of the worst thing on Earth.
Right. And if you did this card again, which means that you repeated it, then that means that you could use the Badlands that's in there to stack damage.
Whoa.
Lure would love that card.
Yes.
Because he uses all the
of
tokens.
Mm-hmm.
Well, all except for Strife anyway. So he could do damage with like each of them. So
that's true.
Let's go ahead and spawn
the tokens.
all of them.
So I thought that one was a pretty...
I know, it's a minor.
It's a minor. 1
gives you
cost.
4 elements. That's
it gives you moon,
1?
air,
wow,
mountain, animal.
Truly a universalist's favorite card.
Yeah. And it's range 1 away, so you can add Blight somewhere else.
Yeah. Oof. Wow. That's just adding a bunch of stuff. I like that one, though. That's cool. Dangerous. I'm not sure if I want to use it all the time, but definitely one that I would keep my eye on.
I just like adding tokens to the game. It's fun.
It is fun to use tokens. It's like, I have this specific currency now. How can I spend it?
I know.
You know what I mean? Like, so. Anyway, there was another minor. This one I liked for both its effect and its artwork. It's really creepy. I'm going to describe the artwork after I describe its function. That way, once you hear the artwork, you'll be like, oh, that makes sense. So you target another spirit, and the name of the card is Scream Disease into the Wind, which is like, So the card, it is still a minor, it's fast, and only costs 1, but target spirit gets +1 range with all their powers, which is awesome. It's kind of like Reaching Grasp.
I love range cards.
Reaching Grasp gives you +2 range to your cards. This one gives you just +1. But it says once this turn, after target spirit uses a power targeting a land, they may add a disease to that land. Which is like, what?
Weren't you just saying disease is hard to add?
It is! So this card upgrades another card to have better range, and it adds a disease in addition to whatever else it did.
True.
So whatever card you want to use, if you have a card that says go ahead and add a wilds token, like there's that new card that just says, for 0 cost, add a wilds token. Hey,
that's cool.
Play a combo with this one. You can go at +1 away, and it's add a wilds and a disease.
Ooh.
Which would be like, what? No, it says once per turn, but still, that's like, that's really cool.
Range is always a good thing.
Right. So I really, really like this card for its function. It's cheap. It must be another spirit that you target. You can't target yourself. I'm okay with that because the way it helps, I think, is really unique and it's really cheap. So what's creepy, though, is the artwork. It is a picture of shadows flicker like flame, and he's like vomiting this crimson red cloud of gas from his mouth, and then a bunch of bugs are within the cloud. So he's like barfing this crimson cloud of bugs and gas, and he's like, like into the night sky. And it's like, jeez.
What did you eat?
But it's kind of awesome. Like, metals.
Nice. Gnarly.
Nice. So both for the artwork and the function, I thought that one was pretty dope. It was not done by Kat Guevara, but it was rather done by Mauro Rogers.
Oh, I have a Mauro Rogers one.
Great guy. One heck of a bridge player, I gotta say.
Whoa.
I've never met this guy in my life.
Oh. Speaking of Mauro Rogers, I have artwork done by them.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Right on.
Gift of Nature's Connection.
Oh, this was the one that you said that you liked because it reminded you of...
Elemental Boon.
That's what it was.
So this is a 0 costing card, which I was comparing it to Elemental's Boon, or Elemental Boon. I don't know if it's plural or not.
Elemental Boon.
Yeah. Elemental Boon is a 1 energy card. This is 0, which is nice. I like free cards. Target spirit gains either 2 energy or 2 of a single element, their choice.
Very flexible.
So yeah, it can either be like a boon of energy, which is always good for, let's say, Mist or Downpour, who may sometimes struggle with energy gain, or like, I'm 1 element away, I'm 2 elements away to get my next tier. Here's that. So we kind of already know the elemental boon, but I like what this does. And then, if you target another spirit, you also gain an element of your choice.
Which is awesome.
Do you
know what I just realized? Both cards that we just described are like a different version of another card that already exists. Because what you just described is similar to Elemental Boon.
Similar.
But it's less and cheaper. And what I mentioned with Scream Disease into the Wind is yet another card that is similar to one that we already have.
Yeah.
Whose effect is a little worse in the same thing, but adds something new on the side to compensate for it. So it's not necessarily an upgrade or a downgrade, it's just like a side grade. It's like a similar version to a card that already exists, but still slightly different.
Because those were 1 note in either elements or range.
But they still have value because those values are still more.
And
like
then,
Reaching Grasp did +2.
True.
Scream Disease into the Wind only does +1 range.
But
it adds disease.
Right.
Elemental Boon lets you do 3
You're right.
elements. But
this one you give a choice, which I like, of either energy or elements.
Elements, which is cool. The other one never did energy. It was just elements.
Just the elements. And this is cheaper. So
you're
right. Each one has their pros and cons.
Yeah.
It makes the base game cards obviously not obsolete. These are just add a new version of them.
So there's like that flexibility while having having similarities. I thought that was cool.
It's cool.
So anyway, one that I thought was really unique, not necessarily for its effect per se, but just how the card is executed. This is the only card in the game that is structured this way, and I thought it was quite unique. And why? This card is Terror Turns to Madness. What it does isn't necessarily too crazy, and that's not why I'm focusing on it. What I'm focusing on is this card is a card that has a different effect based on what the terror level is.
First to do that?
I guess you could say that Threatening Flames does that as well. But in that case, though, you're just doing more of the same. You just get to move more people based on the terror level. But here, it's an actually different effect based on what it is. So if the terror level is at 1, it does a certain thing. If the terror level is 2, it does a different thing. And if it is terror level 3, it does a different thing. So none of these are cumulative. It will only do the terror level 1 effect if it's level 1 and 2 and 3 respectively. So the card, once again, Terror Turns to Madness. At terror level 1, 3 fear. That's it. Then at terror level 2, it's 2 fear. So the fear actually gets worse. Level 1, it was 3 fear. Now it's 2 fear. Or you can add a strife. So it's 2 fear or add a strife. So it is less fear, but now you have a choice to strife it.
Yeah.
At terror level 3, it's just add a strife. There's no more choice, and there's no fear. It's just add a strife.
This card makes sense to me.
It does, because as terror turns to madness, people are first initially scared at terror level 1 when they don't know a whole lot about the spirits. But as terror level 2, when they know, oh crap, yeah, there's something here. Something's weird about this island. Some people are still afraid, but others are starting to kind of
go crazy.
Starting to go crazy. But at terror level 3, they're just bonkers.
Madness.
They're just crazy. They're not afraid. They're just mad. So I thought that was really unique. I thought that was really cool how it changed based on what terror level you were at. I wonder if we're going to see anything in the future like that.
Maybe. Mechanically, I like it because sometimes early game, it is a little bit harder to generate fear. You're not strong enough maybe to destroy towns, or if you're not like a fear spirit like Mist or Bring Your Dreams and Nightmares, it just comes harder. So if you pick up that card just for a minor 3 fear,
not bad. If
I'm playing like Finder Paths of Scene who generates no fear, that card's huge. That's a game changer.
Do you know what I think this card will be a dark horse in? Solo games.
Ooh.
Because it's 0.
Ryan.
And in a solo game, 3 fear is a lot. And in a solo game, 2 fear is a lot.
Because it's only 4 fear.
Right. Also, strifing someone in a solo game, you might only have 1 starting city.
Right.
So if you can quickly ramp up to stage 2 and then that 1 city still lingers, strife it. And
That's
then,
true.
So this could be a minor that could be really good for solo play. For those of you who care. Just a thought that occurred to me. But yeah.
Anytime adding fear is a good thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, solo play, that might become broken.
Yep. I like it.
One card I like, we were picking a lot of 0 costing cards.
What can I say?
We're cheapies.
Well, we like what we like, so.
Hazard spread across the island.
Oh, this is the one with the great artwork.
This is great artwork of a volcanic eruption just kind of destroying Spirit Island.
Yeah, the reason why I like this one is because it's a very zoomed out picture.
Oh, okay.
And I feel as if we get a lot of cards that show very specific things, but this one is cool because we have each of the primary colors. There's green, there's red, there's yellow, there's blue. There's trees that we can see, so there's green. But there's blue because the sky is blue. But then the fire of the volcano's lava is red and yellow and orange.
Yeah.
So there's like all the colors, and there's like the sand of the beach there that you see in the back. I don't know. Just when I look at it, it's very color balanced.
It is. I like that's a 0 cost card. I like it's a fast. I like it gives 4 elements. That's always great for triggering things. It gives you fire, air, mountain, and plants. It's range 2 from a sacred site, so that's always nice.
Good range.
So you choose a type of token. You can choose from Badlands, Beast, Disease, Strife, or Wilds that exists in any adjacent land. And then you add one of that type of token to target land. If you choose Disease, it costs 1 energy.
I love that card. And it makes sense. Like we said, Disease is a little bit harder to place, and this card is a perfect example of that. But how many times have you placed a token? You're like, yes, we have a token there. And you're like, man, I wish I had more of those.
Yeah.
Whether for right now or in the future, and it's fast. So you can like quickly get it to where you need to go.
Guys, we need a Strife. Well, there's Strife in this land. What about in the other one?
Quick, get it.
Adjacent.
And I love that flexibility that it gives. It's free, and putting a Disease for 1 energy, that's not bad.
I don't want to make Finder... applicable to every card that I play. But this is the whole adjacency thing. If Finder can like connect the ways and be like, oh, these lands are adjacent. It's like, cool, we can add disease now.
Love it.
So that one's cool. And Hazard spread across the island. That was one of my top ones.
That's a simple card, but what a great backbone to like keep coming back. If you are a character that has Reclaim 1 on your track, this is like a perfect candidate because it's fast and it's free. I think Sharp Fangs would love this card.
Yeah.
Because it gives him plant and it gives him fire, which he needs, but it allows him to add a beast for free.
Every time.
No, I'm just thinking, he's not necessarily a Sacred Site user, but he's mobile enough, he can make that happen. Really
sure.
Quick. But there are people out there that could really use tokens. We have a lot of token users, and that card can add any of them.
Right.
Just in a good copy of it.
It's just like it's multiplying across the land.
So this card is flexible. Give that to Lure. It's useful. Give that to Vengeance. It's useful. Give that to Trickster. It's
More
useful.
Strife.
Give it to Sharp Fangs. Many Minds.
Vengeance.
Still useful. You see what my point is.
Yeah.
Like it can be really good.
But then you're like, oh no, you have to pay 1 energy if it's a disease. You're like, well, then it just becomes a 1-cost card. That's still cheap.
That's still really good. It's very hard to add a disease quickly like that anyway, so I think it's mighty fine.
Top card.
Yep. So then another one that I really liked is Domesticated Animals Go Berserk.
Ooh.
Costs 1, and it has to be a land that you are in.
Okay.
And it must be a land that you are in that has a building, an enemy building in it, town or city. But it's 1 fear to fend 5. I like this card because, and by the way, the artwork is just a ram's face going, like there's nothing else, just a ram going, ah!
It needs like one of those blurbs where they show what they're saying.
Yeah, right, the flavor text.
Yeah!
So why do I like it? Hey, how many times have you seen a building about to attack you and you're like, crap, I need something. Hey, defend 5 really quick.
Yep.
This is such a simple card. It's exactly what you need, where you need it, and you wish you could have a copy of this card. Give this one to Downpour. Like, bing, 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 bing.
Yeah.
And hey, if you have 3 moon elements, you can add a beast, which is really cool.
One of those rare miners with a threshold.
That's not really common for a miner power to have a elemental threshold. And this miner gives you animal element, obviously, fire, and moon. So you only really need 2 moon because this one gives you a moon.
Okay.
So I like the fact that you can defend with it, but I like how you can actually kind of like break the animal free. You can drive the animal berserk. The pets, domesticated animals go berserk. You're making them go crazy, and then you can actually recruit him to your cause. That's kind of the...
And you get a fear for that one, right?
You do. Just 1, but still, like...
Some defend cards, most, I would say, don't get fear.
Well, one thing that Jagged Earth is doing is, like, even with some of the scenarios and adversaries in this card, they're exploring things that we haven't focused on before in Spirit Island, and we haven't really looked at domesticated animals, because there's even another adversary or something that does... Who was it? There's a scenario or there's an adversary that has to do with, like, livestock, and so their livestock is in the form of towns that are moving.
Oh.
And it's like a farmstead something. I'll have to look it up later, but I was like, this is something that we haven't, like, discussed before. Like, I don't know. That's kind of cool.
Changing things
like
up.
World building.
Yeah.
I thought that was kind of cool. So,
Lord.
yeah.
One last one of mine. Sky's Herald, The Season of Return. It's a 1-cost fast power. The reason I brought this up, I just wanted to include one where you're manipulating blights. So, a spirit with presence on target board may add one of their destroyed presence, which is becoming just more and more common with Vengeance or Downpour Green.
Yeah.
Rampant Green.
Yep, I know. His claim to fame is looking less and less crazy.
But it's just nice, like, a lot more spirits will have destroyed presence with blight more rampant, so that's always cool. May add one of their presence back, gather up to Dudahan, and then push a blight. So that's just one of those things where you're trying to set things up or trying to move blights. Hey guys, this land's about to double blight, we need to move it. Instead of removing it, you push into another land or something.
Right.
So I like this one where it's manipulating blights, you're moving to Han, you're doing a lot. And the spirit gets to add one of their destroyed presence, Volcano.
Which is so nice.
Yeah.
And heck, even Wildfire.
Wildfire.
Because he gets to come back, and guess what? Guess who does damage when he puts it? Yeah.
So this is just one of those cool where I'm like, okay, I see you card, this is new.
Yeah.
And again, 4 elements, so you get sun, moon, plant, animal. It's just another great card.
I love it. I love it. So going on to my final minor card that I'm going to discuss today, this is probably going to be, no joke, one of my, if not already a personal favorite of mine, even after one game. Even after one game, I love this one. It is called Bird's Cry Warning. Costs 1, and it is fast. And the artwork is of a bunch of parrots in a tree, and they're turning to a Dahan, and they're squawking at him. And the Dahan is like, hey, guys, look! He's pointing at the squawking birds. And it says, the next time that Dahan would be destroyed in target land, destroy 2 fewer.
Love those cards.
Dahan. So I'm like, oh, I love it. I used this as Shroud of Silent Mist in our last game.
You got that one pretty early.
It was my first card that I got.
Okay.
And I loved it because even though the land blighted, my Dahan didn't. So they were able to counterattack for me because I had only 2 Dahan in each of my lands. And so destroy 2 fewer meant that those 2 were kind of invulnerable. The land wasn't, but they were. It does have a secondary effect. You could do that, or you can just push up to 3 Dahan.
Always good.
Either one is great. It's fast. I love this one. Either for quick Dahan movement or quick Dahan defense. I absolutely love this one, and it's probably going to be one that I will be seeking for a while. I do think Thunderspeaker will love it. It's the elements she likes, sun, air, and animal. She loves all 3 of those, but I was able to use it as Silent Mist because it was fast and 1 energy, and was able to keep my Dahan alive. So anyway, those are some of the minors that we thought were pretty dope. So now let's go on and look at these majors.
Now it's time.
Gosh,
the big boys.
Dude. Some of these
now
ones.
It's time.
Yeah, this is crazy. So I had a few that I wanted to discuss just because it's like, what? So
real quick asterisk. Sea Monsters got changed.
It did.
Just gonna change that.
I don't know where it was in your cards, but for me, it was the last card in the deck. And I was like, hey, wait a minute.
They basically just capped the fear, which I can see with like many mines or all these new cards that spit out tokens as we went over in the minors, and with obviously Sharp Fangs from the previous game. It just capped where it's add 1 beast if invaders are present, 2 fear per beast token. So, I mean, you could have just gone crazy with this.
With many mines.
And can you imagine many mines Sharp Fangs in a game? Like how much fear? 2 per?
Yeah. In a game where many mines doesn't exist, I don't think it's ever going to be a problem.
Okay.
In a game where many mines is there,
8 fear, that's all you get. There's no cap on damage per beast token. Right. So this can be a heavy hitting card.
What's the limit now?
So it is max of 8 fear.
Yeah, that's still a lot.
Come on. Yeah. It's still a lot.
Yeah. Basically, the card remains unchanged.
Other than that.
In my mind, kind of. But, yeah.
Not often were we getting past 8 fear.
No.
But I guess you could manipulate it with many monsters.
Right, not with sea monsters. I've never used sea monsters for more than 8 fear.
Right.
So
I'm sure many minds players are like, let me try. So Eric was like, no.
No.
So I just want to sneak that one in. Sea monsters got changed.
Yep. Not in my house. So one of these majors that I really liked, the reasons why they stuck out to me was because there are some of these cards that in past episodes we described as ultimates. And in my opinion, there are a few cards in here that are great as new ultimates for people. And one of them, I think, is fantastic for Sharp Fangs Behind the Leaves. I think this is one that would be considered his ultimate, or a ultimate. Another one is Tiger's Hunting. Definitely an ultimate of his.
We've seen that.
Yep. Oh, such a great card. But this is just yet another. So this card is called Settle into Hunting Grounds. It is fast, and it is 3 energy, so it's something that he can do.
Yeah, cheaper.
And it's fast, which is what he really likes. It gives him moon, fire, plant, and animal. And that is something that Fangs can put to use really well, especially the fire.
Oh, yeah.
Only 1 card in his hand gives him fire, which is Prey on the Builders.
Really?
Yep. And Frenzied Assault, which is his second innate, requires 2 fire in order to get to its maximum level. And so he must play another card that he found somewhere else to get that, because he will never get to his maximum Frenzied Assault with just his starting hand. So this card could allow him to do that.
Yeah.
So Settle into Hunting Grounds. What does it do? It says your presence may count as Badlands or Beasts. Decide per presence per action for that.
Okay.
And your presence cannot move from this spot. So this means that for him, he can go in and make this your last attack, or if you have no other plans for damage, that's totally fine. Why? Because your presence can count as Badlands and Beasts. Badlands can do extra damage against humans,
right?
Which would be fantastic for Fangs, because buildings have always been his trouble. And so
that's such a good point.
He has always had a trouble with cities and trying to get rid of stubborn things. So for him to use presence as if it was a Badlands for bonus damage is perfect for him. Or what if he needs more people? Because his damage, basically, the more beasts he has, that equates to more damage for him. So if you can have your presence count as beasts, this is making him sound a lot more like Thunderspeaker for beasts as she does normally for Dahan.
Yeah.
So that is just what is so fantastic for Fangs, I think, because it gives him such flexibility to use his presence as beasts or Badlands. It's going to let him spike damage really, really well. And I think that he really could use this to really get him to late game high number
He becomes
stuff.
a powerhouse.
Right. I'm so tired of hearing people say that he is only good for early game only, because I feel as if I've done enough to prove that he can be useful at any time of the game.
I think Fangs is one of the best at early game.
Yeah, but I really hate the assumption that he is only good early game. And this is the kind of card that I feel as if maybe someone on the staff of Greater Than Games was like, okay, we heard that feedback. Let's give him this cool ultimate. Yes, I know this isn't Sharp Fangs only, but come on, who else could use this as well as he is, besides Many Minds?
I'm trying to find a way to Finder can use every card! No.
So that's just what it does before the threshold.
Ooh.
So even still at level 1, so to speak,
Very
this card
good.
is really good. But if you have 2 plant and 3 animal, it does something else. And 2 plant, 3 animal, he's going to have that really easily because...
His tracks, doesn't he get those?
Yeah, that's exactly what he uses anyway.
Right.
Fire, plant, and animal. But this card gives you a plant and an animal. So one thing that I always do is whenever I look at a card and the card has an elemental threshold, if that card gives those elements, I just subtract the threshold by 1 of those elements.
Right.
So this card, this threshold is 2 plant, 3 animal. But since it gives you a plant and an animal, in reality, instead of being 2 plant, 3 animal, it's more like 1 plant, 2 animal.
Much easier to obtain.
So what is this threshold? 2 fear and 2 damage in one of your lands. So it's just more fear, more damage. So, okay, I just buttered this up as being super whoa, well, what is this crazy threshold? Well, it's really easy to trigger, and if you counted your presence as if it was a Badlands, it's not 2 damage, it's 3.
Right.
And more fear for him. He's constantly adding fear. This just goes to show you how perfectly into his wheelhouse this goes. So your presence can count as Badlands, your presence can count as beasts, then yeah, your presence can't move, but that's not bad at all because you get 2 fear and 2 damage in one of your lands as well. As if he wasn't already getting some bonus damage with this card, he's getting even more bonus damage. So I love it. For the purposes of an ultimate, in my opinion, this is like a perfect additional ultimate for Sharp Fangs Behind the Leaves, and I'm sure that Many Minds can use it, but since Many Minds is very mobile, the whole aspect of immovable beasts is less desirable for him.
Mm-hmm.
So Sharp Fangs can really use some bonus damage, and this
Sharp Fangs in the artwork, you know?
Yeah.
It's
and the artwork is so great. It's just at nighttime, it's a picture of the woods, and there's just red eyes staring at the camera. And there's not just one pair of red eyes. There's a bunch of them. There's 10 pairs of red eyes.
Ready to strike.
It's great. So when I look at that, I think of Sharp Fangs. And you guys know that I really like Sharp Fangs. And so I was like, my boy!
Very strong.
Yes! So I want this. This is an alternate ultimate for him. Or just another additional ultimate for him. So that made me happy.
One I picked, not because I liked what it did, but it is, I think, the first of its kind. Bargains of Power and Protection. 2 cost. Very cheap.
Yes.
This one's weird. Well, not weird, but remove 1 of your presence from the island, on the island from the game, and set it on the reminder card. This is the first major power to have a reminder card, I think, right?
I don't think
I remember I was opening Jagged Earth. I'm like, what does this thing do? Because you're opening everything up and looking at it. So you're like, what the heck is this?
Right.
From now on, each Dahan within range 1 of your presence provides defend 1 in its land, and you gain 1 less energy each turn. But, again, I'm not, like, super thrilled with the power. That's kind of cool to, like...
But Dahan give defense natively?
Which is really cool. I don't like
awesome.
the energy less thing, but I just thought it was
cool.
cool.
But the trade is really good, though.
That's true.
Right. Stack this with Cycles of Time and Tide or Call the Dahan Ways. Just stacking Dahan is stacking
more
defense.
And more Dahan. Yeah.
I mean,
and it's
really
free defense.
Useful. Right.
And it's only cost 2.
Right.
By the way, the elements you get is sun, you get water. Is it earth? Is it rock? Is it mountain?
I think it's earth.
Okay.
I think.
I've heard
it's earth. You know what? I'm going to look that up. Keep talking.
The brown one. Or gray?
It's gray, but if you're colorblind, then it's the same.
Okay. And then it also gives you animal. The thresholds, if you have 3 sun, 2 water.
It is earth.
And 2 earth. The presence instead comes from your presence track, which is cool. Instead of it coming from the island, you upgrade. You know, you get a little stronger.
Yeah,
so
I always love that.
Maybe not my most favorite card, but I'm like, oh, this is new. A reminder card for a major? That's unique.
Really unique.
Yeah. So I was just thinking like, oh, and it's cheap. And like you said, free defense. Never a bad thing.
No, yeah, defense, and especially Dahan doing that defense, which means that someone else can move Dahan for you, like Finder. And
that's true.
So, hey, Finder can use that card and just stack defense with it.
Yeah, so there you go. A unique major power card from Jagged Earth.
Right on. So, keeping in line with characters and their ultimates that I'm finding, this is an ultimate definitely for Mist, and you will see why. So, this card is called Vanish Softly Away, Forgotten by All. So a little bit wordy, but that's fine. It is a slow power. Makes sense. Everything he does is slow. Costs 3 energy. This is definitely the most expensive card for him if you would like consider this a starting hand kind of card because he doesn't have anything 3 or higher. So it only gives you 2 elements. It gives you moon and it gives you air, but that's exactly what he uses. He uses moon and air and water, and so to get moon and air at least is really good.
Yep.
So this one is range 2, and it can target any land. So it says, remove 1 invader and 1 explorer or town. Even if that was all it did, then not bad. You can just remove an invader, so that means you can just get rid of a city. Now, it does say remove, so that means that it won't give you any fear, which is fine. But it makes sense with the lore, because it says vanish softly away, forgotten by all.
Okay.
So people aren't afraid of it because they forgot. But still, like, on the board, to be able to just, bink, get rid of a town, get rid of a city, or an explorer just like that is really dope. Or, and this is just what makes me salivate at the mouth, as far as Shroud of Silent Mist, remove all damaged invaders.
Whoa.
What?
Whoa.
Play Dissolving Vapors, which is, deal 1 damage to each invader. Play this card, remove all damaged invaders. You can literally, bam, board wipe any number of any kind of invaders on spots. Literally have 200 cities on a spot.
Yeah.
200 cities. All of them took 1 damage. Remove all damage invaders. All of them. Gone.
What a combo that would be.
What? Adversary or scenario rules that prevent or alter removal do not affect this power. Which means that it cannot be stopped.
That's crazy.
Which is like, what?
That's crazy.
Remember what I talked about last episode? I love Mist because he's liberated and he's so hard to shackle. You can't stop it. This just feeds, in my opinion, into that mentality. Just remove all damaged invaders, and adversaries and scenario rules that prevent or alter removal do not affect this power.
That could win you the game.
Oh my
if you
word.
Clump up all the cities.
Have Finder come in, clump up cities since he can move them.
Yeah.
Then do 1 damage to each invader. Remove all damaged invaders.
Oh, by the way, we won. That's crazy.
They all just vanish away.
The combos of that card.
Oh, by the way, that's not to mention
There's
what
more?
its threshold. Yeah, but wait, there's more. So long as you have 3 moon and 3 air, in any 2 lands with 4 or more invaders, remove 1 invader. In any 2 lands.
What?
So in the target land, you could have removed all invaders. Then any 2 other lands that have a lot of people, remove 1 invader. So when I hear remove 1 invader, I'm like, haha, city, get out.
Yeah.
So seriously, if you guys are at Terror level 3, this one could win you the game in a single turn.
That's crazy.
Seriously.
And it's not even like a briny deep 9 energy card.
Right. So
it's 3 costs.
Oh gosh. Oh, the artwork. The artwork is just of a city that's been abandoned and there's smoke and like fog just running through the streets. And it's like this forgotten ancient place. So vanish softly away, forgotten by all. Definitely Shroud of Silent Mists ultimate.
The combos with that card is crazy.
Yeah, other people can use it, but who uses those elements and who damages invaders and holds on to that
There's
damage?
literally myths in the artwork.
Right, and remove all damaged invaders? Well, who really focuses their gameplay on wounded people?
Shroud, Silent Mist.
Shroud, Silent Mist.
All right. All right, I'm bringing out the big one. I'm
Right
bringing
on.
out the crazy one. Dream of Untouched Lands. Not
Oh,
cheap.
gosh.
6. Cost energy. It is a
Ooh.
fast. You get, count them, 5 elements. You get moon, you get water, you get earth, you get plant, you get animal.
It's a lot.
It is a lot. From range 1 of a sacred site, you get to remove up to 3 blights. Nice.
That is a lot.
What a good blight card. And
Right.
up to 3 health worth of invaders. Okay, that's cool. You
That's
can
really good.
Divvy it up or take it out
Right
of
on.
city.
But for 6 energy, though, okay.
It's fine. It's
I like
fine.
how it's 3 blight and 3 health for 6 energy. So it's like a little bit of both. It's just as much offense as it is healing.
I would only play this card if I could get the elemental threshold.
get
Let's get it. 3 moon. And like Ryan stated, if it gives all the elements that it is asking for the threshold.
Yeah.
So that's nice. It helps you out a little bit. So it requires 3 moon, 2 water, 3 earth,
Oh,
and
my
then
word.
2 plants.
It's like briny deep.
Here we go. It is the twin.
It
the
is.
twin brother.
It's opposite.
The
briny
opposite
deep.
of Briny Deep. Add a random new island board next to target board. What?
Maximum once per game. Add a new board.
Oh yeah, you can only do this once.
What?
I would hope so.
And then I love how it like walks you through the setup. Make sure you set up,
Ignore its setup icons. Add 2 beasts,
Add 2 beasts.
2 wilds, 2 badlands, and up to 2 presents from any spirit, which is great. Extra growth. Anywhere on it. From now on, build cards and each board, each land, adversary action, skip 1 board. So you could just keep skipping this board if you want to, and nothing happens there.
It adds a new board.
What?
Briny Deep.
Destroys it.
Okay. So, what?
Hang on.
What the heck? So, Branch and Claw shocked the Spirit Island community
It
because
did.
it brought this Briny Deep card, which nuked an island board and blew it up. Jagged Earth now comes in and is rocking the community because it adds this card, which adds
Bring
a board.
a board. How crazy
What
is
the
that?
heck? Whoa. What?
Or maybe you can now skip adversary actions. You can choose a board that's really bad.
Right. Oh my
Really,
gosh.
you're like, we're
Just-
gonna skip this board.
Hey, Finder, just shovel all this filth onto one board.
Yeah, and then
nuke
just
it.
skip a board.
Dude, what if you do Briny Deep and like, I don't like my home. It's like Princess Leia losing Alderaan. It
Aw.
blew up. Let's go find her a new home. Create and
Build a new one.
Dude!
What? What'd you think?
Briny Deep and this card, it's like Titan AE.
Oh, the movie.
Earth blew up, so they had to find a new place.
They dreamed of an untouched land.
Oh, man.
Can you imagine this in the same game? You just like,
Oh, my gosh.
You slant the board and slide all the pieces off. And you're like, actually, put it back.
Oh, my.
And you're like, all right, well, let's put the board back. So cool possibilities. It's just
Oh my
crazy.
Gosh, what the heck?
It doesn't do a lot of fear. It removes blight. That's always good.
There you go.
And-
I know. What was its first effect again? I forgot.
Blight
I
or
was just looking-
But I like that you can also add extra
Wow.
presence. Like some spirit
Yikes.
who maybe struggles again. It's in a reclaim loop.
Wow.
Lightning.
Yikes.
Whoa.
And I mean, if you're doing the archipelago game, this will like heavily affect the board.
Yeah.
Like,
That's true.
what a what?
What? So yeah,
Just-
what happens if you're playing a 6-player game? Hopefully John brought his copy. So
I know. Quickly go to your house.
Yeah, no, go
Hey,
get mine.
can I-
Grab board A.
I don't know. Maybe you gotta. Wow. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know.
Well, here, I got the idea. If you're doing a 6-player game, use the neoprene mat. And then
Hey.
if you use this card, go dive into your box
And then add the board.
and add on to it. So
So,
I guess that's the only other way.
There's the briny deep of this
Wow.
one. That
Yeah,
was that's a crazy one.
That just blows my mind. So there's another card that costs 6 that I thought was really crazy, and it's called Irresistible Call.
Ooh, I like this one.
This one also costs 6, like I said. It is fast, and this one is just like, whoa, what? It gives you 3 elements. It gives you sun, it gives you air, and it gives you plant. So, Irresistible Call. range 2 of a sacred site, and I think this is Lure's ultimate, guys.
Oh, probably. Yeah.
Sun, plant, air. Air and plant he definitely uses. An irresistible call. I wonder who uses that. Target land must be an inland land.
Wait.
Hey, wait a minute. Yeah, this is Lure's ultimate, guy. You'll notice my cards I'm talking about are people's ultimates. So, gather 5 towns, 5 Dahan, 5 beasts, and 15
I'm sorry.
explorers.
It sounded like you said 15.
What? 5 towns, 5 Dahan, 5 beasts, and 15 explorers? That's 30 tokens.
Jeez.
What the heck? I mean, what game are you playing that you've allowed this many people? What?
It's crazy.
What the heck? Like, that's so many people. And if you have the threshold of 2 sun, 3 air, and 2 plant, invaders skip all actions in target land, then isolate target land. Like, what the heck? The artwork is all of these explorers that are looking up at this column of fire that's in the air, like this massive beam of energy that's just emanating into the sky.
Like flies to a flame.
It reminds me of Wreck-It Ralph when they have Diet Cola Springs.
Oh, yeah.
And he shoves all the Mentos in and all the bugs are like, are drawn to it. Or just in the beginning of the movie in Hero's Duty. But just the idea of this massive beacon in the sky, or like Lord of the Rings for our 7th reference. Or 8th reference, where Minas Morgul, when Sauron signals all his armies to march, and Pippin and Gandalf see it, even when they're across the way in Minas Tirith.
Yeah.
And Gandalf says the board is set, the pieces are moving. Like,
the pieces are moving in this one.
Just like, yikes.
That's
what I think of when I see this card. But oh my gosh!
What power! What gather capabilities!
5 towns, 5 Dahan, 5 beasts, and 15 explorers. This is the card that is like the setup for another guy to nuke it. You know what I mean? This is the one that's like, all right, here I'm gathering everyone.
Volcanic eruption.
Here we go! Bam! And so that one was just yikes.
I think the secret power to this one is you're gathering a lot of invaders into one land, and then you isolate it so no exploration is coming from that land.
I know, but you're also gathering beasts and Dahan, which means that, those are people that can do damage.
It's true.
Fangs can do damage with beasts.
Yeah.
A lot of people can do damage with Dahan, so it's like, here, explorers, here, towns, let's congregate. Let's introduce you to some friends of mine.
Sea monsters.
So that card I thought was just insane. 30 people! Yikes! Are you ever going to play a game where you actually fill each one of those to its fullest? Like, oh no, I can only gather 5 of these guys.
France spits out explorers.
Dude, this is an anti-France and Russia card.
Russia, Habsburg, spits out towns. This could be crazy. This is a huge card.
Man.
Obviously meant for lore, but if I see this card, whoever I'm playing, I might pick it up.
Oh my goodness, yeah. Either way, it is expensive just like that other one because it's 6 and this one is 6. There's only one card, only one that is more expensive that came in Jagged Earth. And we'll get into that later. I mean, what? So, I'm sorry. Do you know what this card reminds me of? Ironically, we were talking about lure. This card reminds me of like a super jacked, upgraded version of Softly Beckon Ever Inward, which is one of his starting cards. Because Softly Beckon Ever Inward was slow, required 2 energy, was in a land that you were in, range 0, and it was gather 2 explorers, 2 towns, 2 beasts, and 2 Dahan. Literally all 4 of the exact same kind that this card does. This one does towns and Dahan and beasts and explorers. But before, it was range 0. This one is range 2. They're both inland, so it's the exact kind of people going to the exact same place. That one was 2 energy and slow. This one's 6 energy and fast. And it's 5, 5, 5, and 15.
15.
So it's just like, oh my gosh.
Just upgraded.
Just like a super, super roided out version of Lure's card there. So
they go hand in hand.
Perfect.
Speaking of ultimates, I found the card to finally replace Raging Storm from
yes.
Lightning, because I hate
Yes.
that card.
Raging Storm, we have a love-hate relationship with that card. It is useful and can be used to great effect, but it's just not worth the energy half
It's
the time.
cost so much.
Half the time, anyway, yeah.
So this is also 3 energy. It is also the exact same elements of fire, air, and water.
Yeah.
It's basically the same thing. Storm
Yeah.
Swath?
Swath. Storm Swath. Yep.
Storm Swath.
Oh,
Just, first of all, 2 fear for the card.
Yep.
Always good. Nice.
love it.
In both Origin Land and Target Land, 1 damage to each invader. So just like Raging Storm, but like
Yep.
amped up.
Yep, and it's so similar to Towns of Lightning, which did damage in multiple lands.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's just like you get to destroy everything in 2 lands.
Right, but see, the thing is, Towns of Lightning was just destroy a town in adjacent land. So what if there aren't any towns?
Yikes.
Well, this one is a little bit more flexible.
Yeah.
Because it can still do towns, but it can also do other people.
You get to pick.
Yeah.
If you get the threshold of 2 fire, 3 air, 2 water, another fear. So we're up to 3 fear. This power has +1 range. Love it.
Love it.
In a land adjacent to both origin and target, 1 damage to each invader. So we're just spreading out the
Just
damage.
spreading the damage, which I think for him is so great because it really helps him for explorers as well.
Really struggles
Because
with
he does so
explorers.
much building destruction. It'll be great for him to get some explorer destruction as well. But thing is, though, does it require sacred sites?
It does.
Who uses those?
Lightning.
Lightning, the elements, right up his alley. Who's on the artwork?
Literally lightning.
It's literally lightning, like flying over mountains and stuff. Oh gosh.
Lastly, in lands where you did damage, destroy a town.
Oh, there it is.
There it is.
There's the
There it
signature at
is.
the bottom of the page.
You even have the same wording. Destroy. Not even damage.
There it
Destroy one
is.
town.
There it is. I love it. It's like if this was a letter and you had somehow you didn't know who the letter was from, you see at the very bottom, destroy 2 towns. That's just lightning's
The signature.
Yeah.
If I ever see this card, instantly forgetting
Yeah.
Raging Storm,
Oh.
picking up this one instead.
That is such a perfect card for lightning.
And Lightning's my boy.
Yep.
Love Lightning.
He is your boy. I love it. It's exactly what he needs. I think it's, like you said, it's the exact same cost as
Oh, yeah.
Raging Storm. And it is slow, but it has an air element.
Wait a second.
Hey, wait a minute.
It's basically, just like what Raging Storm should have been.
Yeah, it's what Raging Storm,
Wishes.
wishes it could be. Yet, still, Raging Storm has its uses.
Mhm.
Devil's Advocate, it's still good, but I would pick this card over that
Course.
every time.
Course.
So, I have a major here that I'm going to discuss, and this isn't anyone's ultimate per se, in my opinion, but this is one that I think could be really, really useful. If I had to pick someone's ultimate, I'd probably say maybe Lures, only because this one goes in inland land.
Okay.
Anyway, the card is called Thickets Erupt with Every Touch of Breeze. It is a fast card, and it is 3 energy. Gives you 2 elements, air and plant,
Mhm.
and it is range 2 of a sacred site, and it must go in an inland land. So it does 2 damage, and then either remove a blight or add 3 wild tokens.
Whoa.
3 wild tokens?
That's...
Then, if you have 3 plant, which that's really easy to do, I think, because that's not a whole lot. Plus, this one gives you a plant, so that's really 2. If you have 2 additional plant elements, then 1 fear and +2 damage. So, why is this card so crazy? Well, I think this card is really flexible, really usable by a lot of people. I think this is just a really solid card.
Oh, yeah.
Like, if I had this card, 3 energy for 4 damage, a fear, then blight removal, or 3 wild tokens, that's really solid. So, yeah, it may not be crazy, dramatic like some of these other cards that we described, but I got this card with Shroud of Silent Mist in our first game, and it was cheap enough for even him to use it.
Yeah.
And it was damage. It's fast damage. I really like damage when it's fast. Being able to spit 3 Wiles tokens, or you can just remove a blight. But it's remove a blight from any inland land. And whenever there's blight removal, it's usually strings attached blight removal. So, only from a wetland or a sand if it's uncanny melting, perhaps.
Land
or if it's
of Dahan in it, or
right,
something.
or if it's teeming rivers, it has to be a wetland or a mountain. But this one doesn't matter. It's just so long as it's inland.
Most lands are
inland.
inland.
That's kind of easy.
Yeah, most of
There's
them are
only
inland.
3 on a per board that aren't.
Right.
So, but yeah, quick blight removal.
I like the threshold.
Right. +2 damage, plus a fear. That's 4 damage now.
Yeah.
Grand total. It's just very solid. It's really solid.
It's steady.
Yeah, it's steady. And for a major power that is 3, that's not too bad.
You can use it multiple times.
Give this to Keeper. He can afford it. Sacrosanct Wilderness, do damage for a Wilds token. You have 3 Wilds tokens? When have you seen a card that spits 3 Wilds tokens?
That one, and that's
like
it.
This one, so no, it's not crazy, but hey, I mean, I think it's really solid. Repeat this one a few times with Downpour if you can. I think that one could be underrated by some, but I think it's pretty cheap. The threshold, even if you're not a plant user, 3 plant, seeing how this one gives you one, this one could be pretty easy to do.
I find myself going after the cheaper majors because I like to cast them more often.
I like it because it's solid all the way around.
Right.
It's fast. I like it. It's 3 energy for a major, not bad. I like it. 2 range, solid.
Yeah.
I like it. Inland land, that's a lot of coverage right there. So there's a lot of flexibility there. No, it's not any land, but inland land, I'm okay with that. Then you can get up to 4 damage, some fear. Really like that one. Then you can add 3 Wilds tokens or a blight removal. Like, it has some flexibility there too, but whichever one you pick is really nice. So it's just solid all the way around.
Love it.
Solid card, really like it. So it may not appear crazy, but its basic stats are really good. So that's why I like it.
You know, now that I think about it, it may not be any one person in particular's ultimate, like Keeper or Lure, like I said, but maybe it's more kind of like a hybrid ultimate for all the plant users. You know what I mean? Like, each one of them could use it to great effect, and each of them could totally get that threshold.
One I have, which is, again, something that does something very unique for this game. And just for Jagged Earth, it's called Voice of Command.
Oh.
The artwork, that's Thunderspeaker, right?
This is Thunderspeaker's ultimate.
I think
Another
so.
one of her ultimates.
Fast, cheap again, only 3. It's got sun and air. And the artwork, it's got this town of people. It looks like the invaders or explorers or whatever you want to call them, like the townies. These are not Dahan. And it looks like behind them, it's got Thunderspeaker, like holding a thunderbolt.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
But the elements are 100% ones that she uses.
100% hers. That when we get to the elemental threshold, it's like super easy to get. All right, so the card. It's fast, range 1, Sacred Site, target land Dahan. Again, she's with Dahan all the time. Makes sense. 1 damage per Dahan/Explorer, 2 buildings only, 2 towns or cities. Defend 2. During Ravage actions, explorers fight alongside Dahan.
Oh,
what?
So cool.
What?
You convert explorers to be on your team?
What?
Oh.
Is this the only card to do that?
Yep.
That is cool.
So dope.
It kind of takes Strife to a new level.
Oh my god.
It's like kind of like Strife, but you're using, say you gather 15 explorers.
Cool. Yeah. Hey.
And then they're all doing damage to all those towns that you built up.
Dude, what a combo.
Yeah. Especially with, we're talking about adversaries that add a lot of explorers. This could be crazy. Again, a cheap card.
And
you're like,
for Thunderspeaker, she's going to hit that threshold so easy.
Yeah.
So easy.
It says deal/take damage at the same time to and from the same sources. How crazy is that?
That is so awesome.
The threshold. If you have 3 sun, 2 air, first you get to gather up to 2 explorer/town/Dahan. So maybe you don't have a lot of explorers in land. Let's just gather more first.
Right.
Let's get your army a little bit stronger.
So Dahan or explorers for damage, or if you need more targets,
grab
it in some towns.
It's another one of those 3 costing. It doesn't say destroy all invaders or something, you know. But it's like, wait, this could be potent.
This is more satisfying, in my opinion.
I like the thematics of it too.
Right. Oh, and the artwork is so great. It reminds me of like one of those Soviet propaganda things where it's like the people have turned against you.
Yeah.
And like Thunderspeaker's behind them pointing her finger like, look at them, they're your enemy,
it's
really.
Like, wait, they're us, who cares?
I know, the buildings are your true enemy. All the towns and cities.
It's destroying. Well, I guess we're destroying them. It's so cool.
I know. That is going to be the bane of Russia and France, I think, because those guys use explorers a lot.
And now we're using them against themselves.
So, yeah. Oh, gosh.
Bring it home, Ryan.
All right, this one kicked my teeth in with, what?
Yeah.
This is the one that costs 8. This is the big one, guys. This one blew my socks off.
I think it's the most expensive for Jagged Earth.
Yeah, it is. This is the most expensive one. Here it is, guys. Draw towards a consuming void. 8. It costs 8, and it gives you no elements. Nothing.
What?
The void is upon you. Slow, range 0, target any land. Gather one explorer, town, city, Dahan, presence, and beasts from each adjacent land.
Each?
You heard that right. Gather an explorer, a town, a city, a Dahan, a presence, and a beast from each adjacent land.
Oof.
Then, 4 fear, 15 damage, and 5 damage to Dahan. Then destroy 1 presence from each spirit and remove 2 beasts.
Oh.
If you have no other power cards in play, any number of times, forget a minor power, a major power, and one of your starting powers to do this card again.
What?
This is a black hole. What?
Just eating the
heck?
islands.
A black hole?
Just eating the island.
A black hole? You can use a black hole. Do you know how scary black holes are? Seriously, I don't have a whole lot of things that terrify me in this mortal life of ours, guys, but black holes to me are one of the scariest things ever. This is a freaking black hole
sucking everything
card.
in.
And the card art is of a black hole. And it's sucking people into it, a town and city buildings into it. What the heck?
It's crazy.
Look at the cost. It costs you spirit presence from every spirit. It costs you beasts that have to die, 8 energy, a minor power, a major power, one of your starting powers if you want to do it again.
Ugh.
What the heck?
If you cast this should be game ending. Like this.
I didn't think that Briny Deep could be more upstaged.
Oh yeah,
this does. That was like remove a board. What? Yeah, try a black hole, poser.
Oh, by the way, here's another one.
Oh, my word. So you get to repeat it. What was it again? Oh, gather a explorer, a town, a city, a Dahan, a presence, and a beast from each adjacent land. Everyone, just this vacuum. Just this utter vacuum of just nothing. And it's so creepy. It doesn't give you any elements.
It's nothing.
And it doesn't require any elements to get the thresholds. Just nothing. Nothing is upon you. Just the creepiness draw towards a consuming void. Just nothing.
No cards.
Just pulling in everything. And if you have other kinds of cards that can pull in stuff to manipulate people, that can get you some additional effects, I think. But this one even by itself is just sucking everything in. And honestly, guys, if I'm going to be playing this card, I am not going to be playing it once. I'm going to be playing it twice.
Okay.
I really feel as if for the cost that you were already paying 8 energy, what the heck? If you're going to be doing this one, you may as well put it into your budget to just do it as a repeat. Because if you repeat it once, that's 8 fear right there. If you're doing a 4-player game, even before you do damage, that's half of your progress towards a new fear card.
Yeah.
In a 2-player game, that's a fear card. In a 1-player game, that's 2 cards. I mean,
if you repeat it,
oh my gosh.
4-player game, you earn a fear card before it does anything.
You literally gather every kind of invader. Do you know how hard it is to move cities?
Extremely.
There's only one way to do it.
Finder.
And this is your second way to do it. What the heck? I was stupefied before when I saw it, but this is the grand finale of all grand finales. A freaking black hole. Have I mentioned that yet?
Yeah, you have.
Yeah. So say that again.
It's Jagged Earth in a nutshell.
That is Jagged Earth. It is creepy. It is aggressive. It is damage. It is scary. That is Jagged Earth.
It is. That's the one we finished on.
Yikes.
Wow.
That is the one that blew my socks off when I saw it. What the heck? Who can use it? Literally anyone. Anyone.
You gotta save up.
I mean, I guess someone who has a lot of energy is going to be doing it easier, but there's no elements.
Yeah,
there's no elements.
It doesn't help you.
Everyone suffers when it's used. You know, there's no one in particular that I can think of that suffers the least. Because Dahan get yoinked and can get damaged. Presence gets yoinked. Who likes losing presence? No one. Beasts get removed. That means
sorry, Minds.
Sorry, Minds. Sorry, Fangs. Sorry, Trickster who uses them. Just like I said, everyone, invaders, Dahan, beast, spirits, Nobody is exempt from this card's destruction. I mean, 15 damage, do that again, 30 damage. What if you had any kind of Badlands in there?
Oh.
You know, I mean, there's just a lot.
Yeah. It can go up. I think if you're repeating this card, you should be ending the game. This is the game ender. This is
a game ender.
After 16 fear and how much fear from damage, and like you said, Badlands damage, I hope.
Seriously, even in real life, the reason why black holes scare me is because even light is pulled into it. Like, what kind of thing do you encounter or even hear of in your daily 9 to 5 that it is so powerful that even light itself is getting contorted and twisted? Like, that is how powerful this is. So black holes to me have always been like super, super scary.
Yeah.
And when you look at this card art, look, there's just nothing in the black hole. Just black. Just the void itself.
That's so cool.
Just there it is. My girlfriend right there is
point of singularity. No, Ryan, I'm sorry.
The void. Just, oh gosh. Yikes. So yeah, it's terrifying. 4 fear, 15 damage. Repeat that, 8 fear, 30 damage. So yeah, it may not sound like for a black hole you'd think it would do more damage, but think about the vacuum effect that you're doing. You're pulling cities, nothing pulls cities. You're pulling towns from each adjacent land.
Each one.
So
if this is like
first,
inland land.
Right, at first it sounds like, wow, only gather one of an explorer, town, city, Dahan, presence, and beast.
Cool, I guess.
Cool, but wait, from each adjacent land. Well, when I look at a board, an adjacent land could be like 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 sometimes. Yeah. If it's in the central land, it could be 5 boards.
5
so
cities.
So one from each of them, that could be 5 cities. That could be 5 towns. Yeah. You repeated it, that could be 6, 7, 10. Oh, that's gosh. Crazy. Oh, geez. Oh, geez.
Yeah, that is crazy.
So, I mean, what can you say? It's a freaking black hole, dude.
That's the card to end all cards.
So that is, yeah.
It's a good one.
That's the card to end all cards. Beat that design team.
It's going to be hard to. There's a lot of fun ones, but those were the majors we liked.
Yeah.
Or just really stood out to us.
Yeah, those are the cards that really stuck out to us. And hey, guys, if you have any cards that really stuck out to you,
let us know for sure.
Let us know. And if you want to Google them or something, just keep in mind the names of the cards that we mentioned. Mm-hmm. And just if you want to look at the artwork, just save it for later in your brain and just look it up, that kind of thing. But yeah, Jagged Earth has added a lot. It's added new cards, boards, adversaries, scenarios, and there's a lot of changes that they've done with the gameplay with this whole blight being moved instead of removed. Badlands not going away. Blight's now like a tool. Just, there's a lot here.
It makes it feel so fresh.
Yeah, it really does. And I hope you don't mind just these past 2 episodes and how just our first impressions.
Yeah.
We're probably just going to continue to go into Jagged Earth stuff. I'm not sure what we're going to do for next episode. Don't really care. It's going to be great. So, anyway, guys, I have hoped that you have enjoyed our first impressions and just allowing us as goobers to just gush about this Jagged Earth stuff, because I'm just shocked at some of this stuff.
It's everything I've hoped for.
Yeah, it's everything I've hoped for and more.
Yeah.
And some stuff I was not expecting, and some stuff that I was expecting, but just not to this degree.
Right.
So, there you go. And hey, by the way, we haven't talked about everything. We just talked about some of them. There's some cards that add some pretty feisty bears that can go ping-pong in between lands, but I'll let you discover that one. And some of you probably already know about that one already. So.
Probably do.
Anyway, guys, until next time, I will catch you later.
See you guys.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Kindred Spirit Podcast. We appreciate you taking the time to do so. Feel free to visit us on our Instagram and Facebook page. You can find me on our Facebook page at The Kindred Spirit Podcast. To get a hold of John, check out our Instagram page at the KSP123. We look forward to hearing from you and seeing you in future episodes.